The next day, reality really set in. This happened, it was on every news channel. It was just darkness. I couldn't find any type of light.
Police are hard at work this afternoon investigating the stabbing death of a teenager.
New video clearly showing the suspects behind a deadly stabbing.
Images of these suspects repeatedly stabbing that young man is crystal clear.
I couldn't believe it. Like, automatically I went into shock. Like, I couldn't believe what was going on. And then I was like, nah, this can't be real.
When you see 10, 12 people, guys with, with machetes, you're gonna feel scared.
No parent should be burying their child. The child should be burying them.
It was right here on this block in his neighborhood where Lesandro Junior Guzman-Feliz was brutally murdered. Justice for Junior. 3 words that tore at the very soul of the city. The 15-year-old stabbed to death for the world to see.
We are here to announce the indictment of 12 alleged Trinitarios allegedly committed a crime that has shocked people everywhere for its brutality.
Ever since that tragic night in June, the support has been overflowing. The community unrelenting in its search for justice. His death sending shockwaves around the world. Those who felt it hardest, the ones who knew him.
Oh my God. Best friend, do you love me?
Yes.
You do? You do? Why is it not working on you?
I don't know.
Once I see his face, his smile, I just like, everything starts coming back to me.
He always listened to me, and if I was down, he'll like make me happy some type of way.
And then there's times where like little things remind me of him.
Like, for me to keep him alive, it's not that hard because he's like there constantly.
It's like I wake up, I think about it. I go to sleep, and sometimes I can't even sleep. So I go to the cemetery like every a week and all that, and I said prayers, I talk to him, I touch it, the grave and all that.
He used to flirt a lot with girls. And he will always come to me like, best friend, like, I like this girl, like, what should I do? Like, let me know. And I was just like, boy, like, stop.
His laugh, how the nickname like Papi Shampoo, he used to like that. It's just like me and him used to have a great vibe. So it was like, it was always funny, comedy basically, those funny moments.
Like I have like pictures on my phone. I still have our old conversations. So there's just times where like specific dates that I go back and see like I still have those conversations from that date. And then like I just remember and I like just, to myself, like I just start laughing.
I know he wanted to be on TV. I know he wanted like to get famous one day, to be a superstar. But like thinking about it, I was like, but why this had to be the way you got on TV? Like, why was this the way you became known?
My friend hits me up with a screenshot from News 12 and he's like, oh, is this Lesandro? I felt like tears wanted to come out. So I hit him up and I'm like, yo, bro. And I call him and he's not picking up.
I just like automatically broke down and then I called my best friend and I was just like, Chanel, like, Lesandro passed away.
I couldn't like watch it no more. But I was so angry, I couldn't go to sleep that night. It was like too much.
He always said, be happy, like, that's one of the things I remember. He always said it, like, if I ever pass away, because that when we all ever pass away, remind me as a happy person, like, oh, my laughter and all that, and I was like, yeah, like, I even say that to now, like, when I think about him, I think about how happy he was, what a happy person he wanted to see us cry.
I would say that I'm in a very good place at the moment. Obviously, like losing a friend like that, it was very it was harsh. It was like very hard for all of us.
between like is either good and like bad, because it's like my friend doesn't come back.
I can't like just keep like thinking about that video or those sad moments or that time when you died. More importantly, I should start thinking more about like the times we spent together and the memories.
And as Junior's friends continue to heal after this tragedy, so does his school community, who was hit hard by this loss. Junior's teacher and mentor says it's been a long road.
Prayer helped a lot, and just these kids here picked me back up.
So do you still feel Junior's presence in the hallways?
There's times I have. I felt like one time I was on the basement level, which is the gym level, and I looked at exit 7, and I could have sworn I saw his face.
A new year has come and gone. The last bell before summer has rung. The first school year without Junior.
I do miss him. I do, and I think everybody, I speak for everyone here in the school, whether they had a close moment like myself or even something even closer than what he and I shared. I do miss him. The principal misses him, and I can speak for everyone. Like I said, we all do miss him.
June 21st, hours after Junior was killed, Mr. G finding out from students the horrors of the night before.
I got into my car and I drove up to the scene where they said it occurred, and that's when I saw everything there. And still not wanting to believe it happened, but you can't dispute the evidence when it's right there in front of you.
And is that when it became real for you?
Yes.
Junior and Mr. G had a very special connection, reminiscing on the times he and Junior would just shoot hoops one-on-one.
I wish I wouldn't have to have these moments to cherish unless it was in a good way. You know, after he graduates and comes back and visit, and I say, hey, I remember 4 years ago when you were here, we used to shoot around, but I can't say that anymore because he's no longer with us. That's him meeting the student that's you saw in the hallway out there.
Wow, that's powerful.
So that'll be Kelvin greeting him with open arms and accepting him into heaven. A lot of the kids really have moved on and progressed since that day. We rarely hear them speaking about it. Everyone's pretty much just having a blast the way they were if he was here.
And are you proud of the progress a year later here at the school?
I am. I think we're going in a positive direction, and I think everybody's just in a better place today than we were back then.
Thank you so much for the support that you're giving to me. In this case, I just needed justice for my son, and that's all what can I say right now, because we pray for the justice. Keep me in your prayer.
Lesandro Feliz's words seen as a rallying cry. Strangers from not just here in the city, but across the country banding together behind a family they've never met. Those supporting the family near and far, sending messages of love and strength.
Funny how so many of us did not have the pleasure of knowing him.
May God be with you and your family.
God is with you, Junior.
It's hard.
I might not know you, but you will remain in my heart.
Pray for you and your family that justice is served. I have 3 sons.
Beautiful young man, full of love and
pray
happiness.
for you and will continue.
You will never be forgotten, Junior. The world fell in love with you.
Justicia para Junior.
Justice for Junior.
Sadness, disbelief, and hurt as the world saw what happened to Junior, something they could never unsee. That pain, bringing together people right here in the borough and beyond. So tragedy brought you guys together.
Yes.
Why do you think that is?
Love. Love. Love.
Like you said, love is the answer.
June 20th, 2018 was a defining moment for these women. Junior's death wasn't just another tragic news story for them. It was a call to action. Is this a sisterhood now?
Yes.
How many of you are there?
Woo! Lost count.
From court dates to memorials, these self-designated Justice for Junior supporters showing up in droves, taking on a fight they couldn't just stand on the sidelines for.
I believe you, we've been fighting over justice since October, and we will fight
still
until the end.
I support her by just coming to the court when I can, or sometimes I just make a phone call to see how she's doing. Or sometimes we end up meeting each other when she go visit Junior at St. Raymond Cemetery.
Although they did not know the family before Junior's life was tragically taken, they feel an ever-growing connection with them.
I'm a mom of a boy, so it's hard to see a mother losing a child like that.
I love our support, and I will keep doing it till the very end. I will keep trying my best to be Junior's voice, because he will not die in vain. He will not be forgotten, and I will fight to the very end.
He handed that kid to them guys.
He tried to help that boy.
We're part of the community. We've been there for years.
We were scared because it was in the bodega.
We're here to send a very clear message to gang members, to criminals, to anyone that wants to cause harm to any human being. If you come into a bodega, you will get caught.
This story has been in the headlines all around the world for the past week.
The man captured in the graphic viral video stabbing and slashing him to death.
And the response from the community, the response from everyone after it happened, it was so tremendous.
Puts a lot of faith in the community to help them work with police.
The flurry of tips that were coming in from the internet, from calls, in person.
We had that great video, and we put it out on social media. I've had over 250,000 views of it.
What happened almost a year ago, right where I'm standing, changed the Belmont community. Carmen Grant shows us how East 183rd Street and Bathgate Avenue will forever belong to Junior.
June 20th.
Almost gonna be a year that he's not here. It's hard.
We're standing on hallowed ground.
I feel like we shouldn't have it up, like we should have him here.
So that his story is never forgotten.
Junior's memory lives on in murals outside grocery stores, businesses, and throughout the Belmont community.
3, 2, 1.
My son's not here with me, but I feel he's in my heart for life.
Could have been your son, could have been my son, it could have been anybody's son.
I think it's something that needed to happen. I think it brings good light and always keep us in memory and everybody else who comes to these streets.
Our voice is heard, Junior's voice heard.
Junior!
To get justice, bro.
Has become a national rallying cry.
It brought a lot of kids in the community closer.
You can see the people, the love now. The love is here.
It serves as a reminder that we have an obligation to do everything we can to break the cycle of violence.
You want the neighborhood to be safe because we do have kids. It ain't even about us no more.
What was tragic about Junior's death was not only his youth, but his innocence.
We let one mistake happen once, let's not let it happen again.
Because of Junior, because of his legacy, all of us are aware of the problem of gang violence in our neighborhood.
We should have murals up in the neighborhood, even though he wasn't the only person that passed away over here.
He brought everybody together. It's sad that it happened to him, and I'm sad.
Every day I wake up and say the same thing. I wish he was here.
I just, I pray for his family. I pray for his mother.
Her son's story will forever be part of the history of the Bronx.
At the center of all of this, the bodega Junior was dragged out of. Calls to shut it down, questions on whether workers inside that night did enough to save him. Amanda Bossert looks into how this tragedy transformed typical neighborhood bodegas.
They could close the door as soon as I seen him.
I feel scared at the moment. They will kill us.
He didn't help that kid. He handed that kid to them guys.
He tried to help that boy, and he's a victim himself.
He was caught by surprise, and his first reaction was to take the trouble outside.
I feel like that store should be closed down.
When someone runs into your bodega, they could run in to rob you, to kill you, or they could run in there to seek safe haven.
I was, so scared because it was in the bodega. I was very afraid.
A mindset shared by many who own bodegas in the wake of Junior's murder. A fear of being put in the same position as the employees at Cruz and Chicky Grocery, seen in the now viral video, and the backlash that ensued.
5 for what? 15!
Forcing the owner of the Belmont bodega at the center of the crime, Modesto Cruz, to defend his actions in the days after the attack.
It was too many young kids for only 2 people.
When months went by without an end to the criticism, Cruz appeared to hand over the keys of his shop to a seemingly new owner.
And I was thinking about what could happen in my bodega.
Hundreds of people that go in your bodega, some of them go in to steal, some of them go in to buy a cup of coffee, some of them go in to rob you, some of them go in to assault you, some of them go in to kill you. And you have to deal with all of that every day. Junior's death or murder was something that impacted every bodega owner.
In some cases, it encouraged them to act when similar situations unfolded. Edward Lara hailed a hero when he fought back against a group of men who chased a teenager into his Bronx shop. Surveillance video shows him standing guard, broomstick in hand, keeping the attackers from their victim. Vincent Milan grabbed a bike seat to defend a teen who sought shelter at his Brooklyn store. The assault leaving him scarred physically and emotionally. Convincing leaders within the bodega community it was time for change.
We want to make sure that it doesn't happen again, so we're doing something about it.
With the safety of customers and employees alike in mind, leaders of the United Bodegas of America met with NYPD officers to learn how to avoid tragedy from striking at their stores. The improvements recommended by police include the installation of panic buttons, warning lights, magnetic locks, shatterproof glass, and cameras that can be monitored by law enforcement. Altogether, this security system overhaul created what is known as a safe haven bodega.
If safe haven stores existed back then, maybe Junior would be alive today.
Understandable then why the first safe haven bodega was here, at the one from which Junior was dragged to his death. The upgraded safety measures showcased at this store this past January. Technology that would typically cost about $3,000 for store owners out of pocket. In this case, all donated to the shop now known as Yayi's Deli and Grocery.
To us, it doesn't matter who owns the bodega. It's making sure that that bodega owner is socially responsible.
To date, 10 bodegas are slated to become safe havens. So far, 4 stores have the safety upgrades installed. Most recently, the improvements were implemented at one of Radhames Rodriguez's shops in the Bronx, Pamela's Green Deli.
It's going to be safe for the community.
We want to make sure that what happened to Junior does not happen again.
We, as a community, need to take responsibility of what happened here.
Junior was a bright, talented, smart kid that tragically had his life taken away, and we're going to stand here to be his voice.
Who wanted to stop? We can't continue to have people burying their children.
What the community did after June 20th made a difference.
We are the ones that need to make sure that we can protect the community that we serve.
It birthed change.
He's become such an important part of the story of the Bronx.
It brought people together.
We should have him here, but at least we have something to remember him by.
The Justice for Junior movement went beyond Belmont, farther than the Bronx.
We
have to progress forward. You know, just trying to remember what we did in the past to keep him alive, that's the greatest thing.
Coming up next week.
Tengo todo fresquecito en la mente. No se me ha calmado, aunque haya pasado un año. Lo sigo teniendo igualito ahí en la mente.
News 12's Amy Rodriguez spends time with Junior's family, showing us how they have been coping over the last 12 months.
No time has passed for me. I feel like I'm still in the same day, missing my son, waiting for my son to come, and I feel like something gonna happen soon.
Opening up, sharing intimate memories about the 15-year-old boy who captured the world's attention.
He was just always laughing. There was never a dull moment with him. He was always laughing, he was always smiling, always happy.
Tune in next Thursday for Justice for Junior, Losing Lesandro.